Just guess which way. It's going to be pretty easy to guess. I'm kind of an open book. Anyway, so are we addressing?
Whatever you want. I am an open book.
She's an open book. Go ahead, Tom. If you want.
Well, I'm going to leave that alone. We'll
okay.
talk about that. But what I want to know is, how do you like President DeSantis and what he's saying about the state?
DeSantis?
Yeah, I love the president of the state of the president of the country of Florida.
United States of Florida.
Yeah, the president of the United States of Florida. That
make America Florida.
Now all of a sudden, if you take people down and censorship them, which has happened to, I know, 7 Chakra Films.
Oh, it happens to us daily.
Right. Now he says you can sue them
hourly
if they do that.
I know, I love that.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. If they censor you because they don't like what you're saying, you can now sue them in the state of Florida.
Law is really expensive. So the idea that you can do it, but can you do it?
That's a good question.
You find a lawyer that's ready to go.
Who wants to make a name for themselves or just wants to do the right thing?
Yeah, sometimes that backfires.
I'm
sure there are lawyers out there today who are like, okay, bring it. I want to be the first one.
You know who should be the first one? We have a Florida resident that has been permanently banned from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and he's a Florida resident.
Yeah,
and he has
lawyer.
enough money.
Right.
He could get a lawyer that would take his case.
He probably could get a lawyer to fund all of the cases.
I'm talking
right?
about former president Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
If I was Donald J. Trump, with the attitude he has, I would file suit before the afternoon was out.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with that. That would be great. I thought it was really neat. I was listening to some people speak, and it kind of touched my little heart, my little Cuban descendant heart, where there were Cuban and Venezuelan activists that were there applauding this move by the governor. And one of them was quoted, and well, let me not say quoted. One of them said something like, because as I'm doing my makeup, I'm writing these things down. Not one country has changed its constitution who has a good story to tell. So the fact that they're basically trying to like change our constitution as they go and change like our access to free speech or our ability to speak freely is really scary. So to see our president of the of Florida, our president of Florida, taking this stance, and he's the first one, is really awesome. So I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah.
Lori moved from one sunshine state where they prohibited any kind of freedom. So now she's back in Florida where freedom abounds.
It's true. I got lucky though.
You did get lucky.
Because it could have gone the other way.
And if Charlie Crist gets elected, it will go the other way.
Oh.
Who would
start with that crackhead?
Who would
I can say that without worrying about
he
facing
got arrested for a crack.
I can say that without
with an
facing
underage minor young man in his hotel room.
Hello.
Wasn't he new?
Hello. Yes, there were shenanigans, and they
very,
were not
very strange.
what I would consider family activities.
No.
So thank goodness we dodged that bullet.
Wasn't a whole lot of PlayStation going on in that room.
Remember how close the election was?
I do.
Okay. That's how close.
Look, and I was part of the reason the election was close.
You know that
I voted for Adam Putnam.
You know that? See, you can't do that.
I thought Adam Putnam. In the primaries.
Okay.
I was part of the reason that people thought, and I know people that didn't go to the polls because they didn't like. I know.
He wasn't an independent.
Putnam was a Republican.
Oh, gotcha.
He lost in the primary, and I know people in this town because of and it wasn't their dislike of his policies. People got really upset with Twitter, with Donald Trump on Twitter, and I know people who voted, who refused to go to the polls, and that's just like that's like voting for Gillum, and didn't vote for DeSantis because he was backed by Donald Trump.
Look at how close that race was.
It was really close.
That's like in The Matrix, you know, when Neo's like, when he's like leaning backwards and the bullet goes whizzing by his head. Yeah, that was Florida.
I've always found that people who have such a hatred of Donald Trump, and this is just personal experience from people that I know, they typically have a personality very much like Donald Trump, and it's like a self-loathing situation. I've never been able to understand people who hate Donald Trump so much because of his personality.
I think his policies were amazing. He stood up
Nobody
to China.
wants to look at that.
He stood up to Iran.
Nobody in the hater group wants to look at the
He told
policies.
Europe, pay your own bills.
Right.
But I will tell you this. I was an outspoken critic on the radio numerous times about stay the hell off Twitter.
I really like those.
I loved it.
But I didn't think, and here's the reason I didn't like it, and it had nothing to do with, it had to do with, I thought that the way he spoke on Twitter was a disrespect to the office of the presidency. And by the way, I thought everything Obama did was a disrespect to the office of the presidency. I thought everything George W. Bush did was an offense to the office of the presidency. The last good president, in my estimation, was named Ronald Reagan. Okay, we're just gonna put it out there.
Okay, that's fair.
And I don't think anybody is bigger than the office of president. And I think the last two, Obama and Mr. Trump, both at times, Obama all the time, and Donald Trump a couple times, were bigger than the office.
Huh.
I love the saying, you can't love or hate something about somebody else without it saying something about yourself.
True story.
That's what I love.
I don't go on Twitter because I would say the same things.
If there's something in somebody else that triggers you, either on the positive emotion scale or the negative emotion scale, it's because there's something about them that's resonating inside of you. And people that hate anybody are just projecting their own emotions onto someone else. So I actually, for that reason, enjoyed the phrase Trump derangement syndrome.
It's the best one ever because it really does
fits.
describe these people 100%.
You know,
There's
you might
no
not
reason.
like somebody's style. I personally didn't like Bill Clinton's morals.
No.
But I voted for him because at the time I thought his policy was good. Now I understand NAFTA was a disaster for America.
Horrible.
But at the time I was drinking the Kool-Aid and I bought the concepts of the policy, even though on his morality code he was an F. That is why we should think about policy, because if we think about what's best for, Americans, policy is important. I've now matured into a more broad perspective where the morality of a politician is important
big
to me
deal, right.
because leadership is important. And but I was so surprised at some of the blue team folks who were pro Clinton would have Trump derangement syndrome, and I would think, hello, Bill Clinton, like, well, how can you complain?
How can you compare
About
somebody
Twitter,
saying something about
about-
about it to somebody doing something in the Oval Office,
Yeah.
like talking about an act?
Trump said he was going to
versus
grab
doing
somebody
it.
by it. Bill Clinton actually did.
You know what? And I think it's really important to say Trump didn't say he was gonna.
Yeah.
He said these women are
Throw
so
themselves
they're
at him.
throw because of the celebrity
And the
aspect
money,
and you
because of the
could.
money.
They're so hot for him because he's a
Right.
celebrity.
Right.
He could grab
So
them.
Donald
that
Trump
way.
using a
There's
P
a
word
totally
is
Yeah.
worthy of this hell and brimstone, fire and
Evidently.
brimstone. But you can do what Bill Clinton did in the Oval Office with Monica Lewinsky, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Okay.
And
I just
by the
wanna
way-
get the
Yeah, that's because a lot of cigar smokers are okay with humidors and stuff. That's why it is.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's why it is.
I don't like where this conversation's going. I'm getting
good
uncomfortable.
times. Good
Um,
times.
So,
I will just put it out. I've said way worse than Donald Trump said on that day.
well, thank
so,
you.
Womp womp.
Yeah. So we have a lot of forces, I think, that are just trying to divide us, and they're pretty predominant.
Mm-hmm.
And they're campaigns and propaganda operations that create dissension. And that's what I don't like about the red team, blue team thing and where it's gone. I think we need to really unite as Americans at this point and start thinking about policy for our country.
That's the truth. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
good times. All right.
So
Yeah.
what else?
Well, I watched the news this morning. Yay! I did something
I
positive.
can't even
maybe.
digest the news anymore. Are
What
you able
channel
to
did you
digest
watch?
it?
Every morning I watch Newsmax.
Okay.
Okay.
I do watch Newsmax in the morning while I'm doing my makeup once again, so my notes are kind of sloppy and sometimes incomplete. Today
But you look pretty.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Today is the 1-year anniversary of the George Floyd death, which is a very sad thing. I don't know how, I think embassies around the world are supposed to fly the BLM flag at half staff. I don't understand
Can
that.
you feel the eye roll?
Never will.
I'm shutting my mic off. I already did 15 minutes on this
You
today.
did. I
And
didn't hear it.
I was angry
Were you?
Yeah.
because
it's
BLM, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, they don't. And I'll tell you why.
Because all lives matter.
No, I'll tell you why. Black Lives Matter don't care about black lives. And I'm going to
That's
tell you
true.
why.
No, you're right.
They made George Floyd a martyr, a bad dude. He shouldn't have got murdered by this guy in 9
he
minutes,
should
but he
not
was a
have.
bad dude. You make him a martyr. There was a 15-year-old Vanguard High School student that was gunned down in an apartment complex right here in Ocala. You protested on the square. I was there with your brother Brendan. We were there with Brick City. We were filming it. We saw the protest over George Floyd. We marched with him down Silver Springs to Martin Luther King. We saw their anger about George Floyd. Where the hell was the protest about the black kid that got killed in the apartment complex? 15 years old.
Who, by the way, was
gunned
not
down.
doing porn movies, which
No.
George Floyd did, and was not a drug addict and was not involved in counterfeit activities, which that neighborhood was known for in Minnesota.
Why
where
doesn't
he
that
was killed.
African-American
It's
kid's life
awful
matter?
what happened to him. It's awful.
Yes.
But we have other. I'm just so tired of news in a vacuum.
Why is Black Lives Matter not in Chicago every day of the week going, another 8 African Americans were killed today in Chicago? Why do their lives not matter? They're African American. They're black. Why the hell aren't you protesting that they're dying?
Why?
The organization is the issue.
Shutting my mic off.
Okay.
The organization is the issue. It has been hijacked. I think we've talked about this before, so we won't go into it in depth. But it has definitely been hijacked. Of course, Black Lives Matter. Nobody's going to tell you they
course.
don't.
Well, the
But-
racists will, but you know.
Yeah, but how many of their
don't like
how many racists do we really have in this country that really think that people should die based on their skin color?
If you buy
A
the
lot
critical,
more than you think.
Yeah, if you buy the
A lot
critical
more than you
race
think.
theory,
I don't
you
think
know,
so.
then a lot. But
Vanessa,
I
come
don't
with
buy-
me.
I'm not buying into
Come with
it.
me for a weekend
Okay.
to
I
South
sure will.
Georgia, and I'll show you a
I will be
whole
there
different
all
place.
day long.
I'll show you a place where I could take you
I'll be Brown
to
Vanessa
meetings
in
of
South
white
Florida.
supremacists
Here-
that will tell you how bad they hate racists. Oh, believe me,
What
it's
is the
right under the
deal?
surface.
here's
Well,
the
that's
deal, though. This
disgusting.
goes back to what we were talking about
disgusting.
yesterday.
I would be in jail.
Everybody has a moral code. Even if you don't have one, you have one. You know, you're choosing. Even if you think you're not choosing, you're still choosing. Apathy is a choice, and if we continue to fall for campaigns that want to bait us into polarizing, which is what virtue signaling. BLM is a virtue signaling organization that is preying upon the fear of people for the cover of raising a lot of money. Oh my gosh, if you go look at
Democratic National Convention. Go to BLM. It takes you to
go to
Democratic National Convention.
go to Crowdsource the Truth and look at Charles Ortel's report from last year where he went through. He's a forensic analyst on Wall Street from Yale who actually investigates nonprofits and their financials to make sure that they're legit. And he's done tons of investigative work on the Clinton Foundation. He's done tons of investigative work on BLM. And BLM as an organization was formed right after Donald Trump won the election. And it was funded in Los Angeles and New York. And the Los Angeles charter has already received notice from Xavier Becerra in California, who I think is the Secretary of State, because they have not filed, they're delinquent in filing their annual financials. They are delinquent in actually doing the paperwork that you're supposed to do to report, you know, the fiscal monies you've taken in and what you've done with it. They are delinquent. They were when Charles did
And
this report.
California always wants this pile of flesh.
You bet. Yeah.
Everybody.
Xavier Becerra may actually be on that team, but he's still going to come for the taxes. He's going to come for the money.
The most important thing in California,
Yes.
taxes.
That's right. I sold a house in California in 2015, and in 2017, the state of California came at me, garnished our wages because they claimed that we made a profit on our house and therefore we owed them taxes. We did not make a profit. We actually lost money on our house. We didn't owe them a penny, and they literally went into our bank account and took our monies.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So how did you resolve that?
Got a lawyer.
Well, there you
Lawyers
go.
are expensive.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
Law
Yes,
is
they
expensive.
are.
Yeah.
That's why lawfare is when the legal system is weaponized against you, because how many of us can afford a $100,000 plus lawsuit? Not many,
No,
right?
you're 100% right.
So yeah, BLM has some housekeeping to do if they're going to be a legitimate organization, and I just don't like that the concept of it divides us.
By the way,
I
I,
agree.
To be
I,
united.
I got
agree
a text. I
100%.
need to clear something up.
Yeah.
I could take you to South Georgia and show you a lot of white supremacy people.
Yeah.
But I can also take you to neighborhoods in Jacksonville and neighborhoods in Atlanta
Yeah.
and show you the other side of the coin where there are huge racist groups of
Sure.
African Americans.
Well,
too.
I will say I did live in Atlanta as a, what would appear to most people to be a very white girl, and I have definitely experienced racism the opposite direction in Atlanta.
I can also take you to places
question.
where there are wonderful communities that are united.
It doesn't exist.
They don't even talk about skin color or race, and they just work together.
I think Ocala is one of those communities. I don't feel here at this point. I don't. In 2001, I don't, or 2021, 2021, whatever time I'm in.
2021, A Space Odyssey.
I don't know. I have neighbors of varying ethnicities and colors, and we seem to be pretty harmonious. The only ones who hate me are the super white ones across the street who didn't like my Trump signs.
Ocala
They won't talk to me anymore. But
Ocala's a lot better than a lot of places.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll just leave it.
I mean, look, can we do better?
I like to live in a vacuum.
We can always do better.
Absolutely.
Humanity can always do better.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, we all have wounds that we experience as we are growing. And if you do your work, and for me, Christ, this is the message of Christ, this forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself and forgive others if you want to live peacefully. If you don't want to live peacefully, that's okay. You can walk around with your pain, and you'll just be dumping it on everybody else, which is what a lot of misguided people do.
That's exactly the sermon this Sunday, and now you've reiterated it. It's forgive yourself, then forgive those around you, in your families and stuff like that, because it only breeds hate, and it only breeds a bad karma for you.
Oh, I got a news flash. Here's a news flash. We're all human, and we all make mistakes.
Imagine that. Humankind.
The only human that didn't make a mistake, Jesus Christ.
That's right.
It's the only one.
Turned a grave into a garden.
3 people agree on this.
Yeah.
Hey,
But that's the opportunity in all of
agree.
this chaos,
All of it.
right? The opportunity is to look at the situation and say we're all human. If we can learn to be compassionate with each other, we have an opportunity to be better humans.
Absolutely.
And it's simple, but it's not easy.
how important
You're
is it,
100%
though,
right.
Yeah.
that it starts with the nuclear family?
It's
I think it is.
everything. That's why we wanted to do this show, because we want moms to have a voice, and we want them to have an opportunity to know if you're thinking about some of these things in your head, you are not alone, because moms are the future of this country. We hold the key. That baby you're feeding right
History of
now,
this country.
that kid whose homework you're helping with tonight when he comes home, they are the future leaders of our nation. And we have an opportunity to put an imprint on them of love, compassion, kindness, joy, harmony, peace. Those are all qualities that serve humanity. And the opportunity as moms is for us to help raise loving adults that are going to care about their communities. And that's what I would like
And
to
by
see.
the way, that has nothing to do with politics, folks.
It does not.
That's just morality and raising your children to be good stewards of the society.
And pour the
love
Lord
of a
into
mother.
them.
Amen to that.
Pour the Lord into your children, because you get a short amount of time to do it. And if you don't do it and you miss that window, they will have no rudder.
Yeah,
And
they'll
a
be
lot of-
empty, and there's a lot of people out there pouring other stuff in.
That's right.
Lord
Culture
knows
will
that's the
come for
truth.
your kids, and Cardi B will want your kid to go party with her. You don't want your kids partying with Cardi B.
You don't want to party with Cardi.
Trust me. I promise you, you don't.
I said this to Susan over the weekend, and she goes, "You ought to ask Lori and Vanessa about that." And I go, "No, I know where Lori and Vanessa are." I go, how bad are we as a society that a role model for young girls is a former prostitute and porn star turned rap artist?
Who drugged men and took their money.
Took their money, robbed them, would rob them in hotel rooms.
And that's who our president chose to have on the Democratic National Convention stage. That just blew me
She's
away.
being put up as a role model.
I
And
understand.
she made the sound a word, and I don't even know what it means.
No.
I
Can
can't
we not
figure it
talk
out.
about her anymore? Because I don't even
Let's
want to
not.
give her any
So this-
airtime.
the
Just
next
don't
subject,
pour Cardi B into your kids.
Don't,
That's
please
it.
don't.
That's the message, right?
The next subject that I guess wrote down on my little thing was here, work from home. Working from home is like there's this trend. Everybody wants to work from home. Every company, are they're trying to figure out, does this work for us, for our culture as corporations or whatever? And so the question is, how do the moms of Ocala feel about the work from home option? I mean, obviously in some, we're watching a plane take off. It's very loud.
It's
and
the
it's really
coolest
cool.
thing ever, though. Yeah, it's a
622-9622 is the number to call to answer this question.
Right. some occupations it's not an option. Like obviously, like my husband won't be working from home because we don't need that many people in and out of our house every day.
I need him to be in his office.
A surgical nurse or surgical doctor.
Yeah,
not
you don't
from
want your
home.
surgeon from home.
Judge.
Your judge. I don't
Although
know,
Zoom,
you can definitely
we've been doing
zoom it in.
I've been on several.
I am curious about how moms make it work because I know I have been working from home and I've never gone back, and I really haven't gone back because I love being in my pajamas with no bra. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not productive at all. I have stacks of stuff all over my bedroom.
But do you get distracted? Do you get distracted working at home?
I mean, look at who I have sitting down the way. I have a kid in here with me today because
He's so cute, though.
was going to be outside playing kickball all day, and I am I'm not sending my kid outside all day long in the Florida heat in late May to play kickball. Like, that's cruel and unusual punishment. That's my opinion. So we're not going to school today.
I'm 54. I played kickball all
Sorry
day
for
in
you.
the summers, all my life, drank out of a water hose. I survived. Stop being a pansy. Send your kid out to play.
Nope, not doing it. Not doing it. Because you know what's going to happen? They get irritable and then they start bickering with each other.
You know what, though?
It's
It's
not
your
good.
choice to make because you're
Thank
his
you.
mom.
Praise
That's
God,
right.
my choice, and he's with me
right.
today.
No government is going to tell you what you can or can't do.
I would double
You're
dog
the mom.
dare. That's the truth. Yeah.
Be surprised how bad it gets, people.
So I wonder how.
California.
You have
And
to-
he
you
gave
have
us a
to be
thumbs up, by the
careful.
way. He gave
You
us
have
a
to be
thumbs up.
careful, and that's one of the reasons why I really am looking forward to going to the school board meeting tonight and seeing
Yes,
our
you
school
are.
board. And
That's cool.
yeah, because we need to be involved in our communities, and it's such a special place we have here. But it's also an opportunity because it's not the big crazy city where all kind of backroom dealings and money's been exchanging hands.
We
to
would
have
hope not.
to have some truth come forward.
I don't know. It's the Marion County School Board. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know.
So 5 o'clock tonight.
5 o'clock tonight. Yeah. But I just know that as a Christian, I cannot stand by and let lies be told
Okay.
that punish my community needlessly.
And I think that it's a great thing that you're going there to share your wealth of knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge. It is all, you're coming from a good place. You do want to help people. This was the conversation you and I had yesterday when we were leaving. And Lori said that as a Christian, it's her duty to educate people on the truth. And I agree with her 100% that what she is saying is the absolute truth. It is the truth for me. And we just come to this from different perspectives. I personally say I don't cast my pearls before swine. If people don't want to believe my truth, then so be it. That's between you, God, and your kid. But Lori does feel that it is, important to speak out. So Lori,
Well, for whatever reason, the Lord
awesome.
has put me in the middle of this thing, and I happen to just have a treasure trove of information that's highly credible, and I've been blessed to be able to meet with some really smart, way smarter than me people.
they're pretty awesome.
But I feel a responsibility I'm raising the 5th generation of my family in this town, and I feel a responsibility, if you know truth and you don't speak up, I feel that that's not the kind of person that I'm supposed to be. So I feel I feel an obligation, really.
Right.
And at the end of the day, science is never settled.
And that's another episode of American Moms on WOCA. The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Severe weather slammed western Kansas Monday evening, dropping tornadoes, including one which impacted a Sheridan County community. Damage cleanup is underway after a tornado struck Selden, a northwestern Kansas town. Kansas Highway Patrol spokesman Todd Yeilman tells KSN News the damage he witnessed.
We have reports of injury crashes from semi-trucks that were blown over. We also have a train that is blown over, or train cars that are blown over. Don't know if they were connected to the engine or not right now.
There were no report of injuries related to the storm. A missing 69-year-old fisherman, Harry Burley, was found alive on Sunday after surviving 17 nights in the Oregon wilderness alone. He went missing May 7th after a camping trip to the Twin Lakes area. That's about 66 miles southeast of Portland, Oregon. His wife, Stacy, says he's doing well since being rescued. USA Radio News.
I'm hungry. What's to eat? beans again.
Did somebody say hungry? Pistol Pete's Jerky at pistolpeachjerky.com. A herd of delicious flavors. Break bronco busting hunger. Lasso up your order at pistolpeachjerky.com.
Thanks, Pistol Pete.
I made it myself. pistolpeachjerky.com. Tell them Pete sent you.
Pistol Pete's Jerky.